Hello, doing another VOD review. This is a Diamond 5 Ana player on Esperanca. They mentioned in their post that they are seeking more specifically positioning around where they should be playing inside the dive comp and where they should play to like live. They ask questions around like whether going Juno, which is the other main character they play, would be better, noting that they struggled a lot with both the Vendetta as well as a hog that seemingly was walking around her back line for free. So we'll have a little bit of a look and see how we go. I think already like your comp, the thing with like Ana is like, although Ana's still like pretty good hero overall, like she is like not a DLC hero. So like unlike a lot of these like new age supports, like supports that have like good damage, good heals, and good mobility, like Ana doesn't have the mobility, right? Like Ana's very slow to move and rotate around the map. So like to get value off Ana, like you often need like two things. You need like really good like peel and support from your team because she is so vulnerable with her lack of mobility and lack of escape tools. Or you need like god tier mechanics basically, because although Ana has like really good matchups into a lot of DPS, like Ana is in principle like pretty good at 1v1 still. She matches up really terribly into most tanks, at least until you get the headshot perk, because your damage just isn't significant enough and the sleep dart is so short on tanks, right? So even if you sleep a tank, it's like 2 seconds isn't enough time for you to actually get anywhere and live a lot of the time. So like your positioning does need to be like really important on Ana. But I think like playing Ana, particularly with the Moira, is kind of like tough. I think Moira is like not good at all at like peeling for an Ana, as opposed to like a Brig or a Lucio, who are exceptionally good at peeling for an Ana. And I think even like Ana Juno or even Ana Kiri is good. The reason all those are good is that they have like boops to knock threats back. They can rotate across the map reasonably quickly, with the exception of Brig. And they can also help you with rotation. Like Lucio can speed boost you out of dangerous situations. Juno can drop a speed ring to get you out of dangerous situations. Brig can spam you with packs and whatnot. Obviously, Brig's strength's a little bit different than the others. Kiri can TP and cleanse, and then Kiri has like her own high damage threat. I guess the challenge with like playing Ana with a Moira is like, although Moira has like will always have lots of numbers on the scoreboard, they're like it's like junk damage for the most part. Like it's like very slow damage over time. It doesn't have the burst damage to actually get rid of a dive threat a lot of the time, right? Whereas most of those other heroes either have like damage or like good peels. Whereas like Moira has like not very good peels, so she can't boop and she can't speed you out of a threat, and she doesn't have meaningful enough damage. So I think like I can see that being a challenge for you, because if you're getting pressured a lot, like I don't know who's like peeling for you here. I kind of feel like maybe like you need to try and play an angle similar to your soldier a lot and hope that the two of you can like deal with a dive threat, right? Then again, I'm not sure what would be diving you here, like presumably just the Vendetta. I feel like Ana goes okay into the Vendetta, especially once you get the headshot perk. I think like your damage becomes really threatening, right? And there's no bubble and there's no Zuzu for the Vendetta. All right, so we're taking high ground initially, which is the right choice. All right. I wouldn't go for this deeper angle straight away. Like I would just start back here. You start back here, you'd have more notice of any flankers coming this way. Obviously, we have the benefit of being in the replay mode. You probably don't know the Vendetta's there yet. But until you actually know what the team comp is, don't swing for these wider angles. You can do everything that you want to do right now from here. You can peek that angle if you need to, but you can pocket these players as well as look at getting some damage and stuff on. And then once you actually know what the team comp is, which actually you would know what the team comp is now, because it's more than 15 seconds into the round. So you could push tab at any point, recognize that they have a Vendetta. And if you don't see the Vendetta in front of you, then that must mean that she's coming from the side or the back, right? But this angle already feels a little bit too much. We'll see how you, wrong player. We'll see how you react to the Vendetta. Right, you hear her, that's good, you ping her. I feel like we're way too early with the sleep there, right? I think just take a shot or two at this point. Sleep her when she's actually coming a bit closer for the engagement, because right now her hitbox is just kind of like, you know, smallish hitbox. What about now though? What about that hitbox now though? That's easy, right? You're not going to miss that sleep. She would still get, like, she would get the overhead on you, that's fine, but she gets the overhead, you sleep her, you line up, you know, like the left click nade melee combo. She probably doesn't quite die from that, I don't think, but like she'll be forced out. You'll either kill her on her way out, because she's only got the whirlwind. Wait, did she use whirlwind or the sword throw? Sword throw. So she's only got whirlwind now to get out. I feel like if you play this a little bit better, you sleep the vendetta like here instead of dropping off. You go for the nade. You also did the nade way too early, right? Like, yeah. So like you hit her with the nade, but not yourself. So like you didn't get full value from the nade because now you're missing all this health, and you could have like, what is it, 60 health more than what you have right now. So don't sleep so early. Just take a left click shot instead. Back up, kite a little bit. Hit the nade sleep or the sleep nade, whichever way you want to do it, when she comes in close like this, and then line up like the left click melee or left click nade melee, if you haven't used nade yet, on her once she's sleeping. But either way, even if you miss the sleep dart, like don't try and like pre-nade so far out. Like, she doesn't care that she's antied right now. She would care if she was antied and you got the heal from it, because right now she can just execute you, I think. She can just slash 3 times and then you're dead, and she's already in the middle of one slash. Whereas if you got the heal on yourself, I think your chances of living here are substantially higher. The soldier reacts, which is good. So I think because she's taking a bit of damage from you, but also the soldier's shooting her, she's rethinking her choice to go on you. But I'm pretty confident that this vendetta just dies if you manage those cooldowns a little bit better. She's going for the mega, that's fine. So now we just turn, we look at other things. And again, like part of the issue with Moira, like that all happened in the space of like 10 seconds, and it's taken like 10 seconds almost for you to get a heal from the Moira, right? Because the engagement started at, I remember it was 9:34. So it was like essentially like 8 seconds, I suppose. But because Moira can't necessarily fade up there to get to you, I mean, she can, but she doesn't necessarily want to. The heals and the peels come through pretty slow. I don't want to see you like shooting the hog. Is there not someone directly to the right of the hog that you saw? Like, let's shoot that target instead. Like, you have 0% chance of killing this hog right now. You don't even have a nade to anti him, even if you wanted to. Let's shoot the Moira. Let's shoot the Moira. Healing your Moira at the end made sense. Your Moira kind of stayed in too long. She greeted it. That's not on you. You did try and heal her. We missed the nade, but we had the right idea. We can't hit every nade. At the end of the day, like, I assumed that what you were trying to do was nade so that it would hit both tanks, both your tank and their tank, which gives your tank increased survivability and maybe like makes the hog think twice about pushing too aggressively. I mean, he probably wouldn't have gotten much more value in the next few seconds anyway, because there's a bubble there. He has to walk through the bubble, but like I see the idea behind it, and I think it's fine. So I think to recap that first fight, I think if we don't take that wider swing at the start and we stay on the more narrow angle, and then we look to take the wider swing once we get a better idea of like what's happening in the game. Once we know that they're like players in their vendetta who we would have seen if we push tab were accounted for, that's when I think we can like move up and take this angle, because it is easier to hit nades in this section from here than over here. Obviously, like, this is a really weird angle to try and nade that area. But yeah, I think taking this position and then mismanaging our cooldowns so early, sleeped out way too early, and then like not managing to hit ourselves with the nade as well, was sort of all poor play. So here we're playing against a hog. We know that the hog's going to be holding close. We know that there's a side passage here. Obviously got the benefit of the replay viewer to know that he's there. But ideally, like, I think our positioning right now is we're moving to here. The next fight is still going to take place at the checkpoint, so there isn't going to be a fight back here unless we get super staggered out. But the reason you might move back to here is just for cover. You've got two natural forms of cover here. If the Vendetta, all the Vendettas get dead, but if they were alive and they wanted to get on you, like they're forced to use like cooldowns to get up here, and that's what you want. Like you don't ever want a Vendetta to just be able to walk on you for free. It also would like make you a lot safer from the hog. So when you're playing against a hog, like you just got to keep like 15 meters away, or maybe it's 16 meters, 16 meters from the hog at all times, and then you'll never ever get hooked, right? So I think if you're up here, pretty much zero chance of you getting hooked. You can still hear your team, and then once your team moves forward to take that positioning, you can either swing this way if you feel confident, if you know that the Vendetta is not to your left, which is in front of you. Otherwise, you could just walk back down this way and take this angle on this corner here while your team fights for over here. All right, we're taking a lot of damage. There's a hog there. Oh, we don't have our sleep dart. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, he missed his hook, but yeah. If he hit the hook, then that sleep dart would have been really good because it would have saved your soldier's life. But yeah, I think especially, I didn't actually say that you used sleep dart before. I think especially given that you have no cooldowns, like you need to take a safer, more like passive position right now, like back here a bit. This hog is going to do nothing, like, because every hog is basically the same. Like they're going to do nothing but just try and take angles and look for hooks on squishies, right? Otherwise they would lose the game because that's how you need to get value on hog. So we take a bit of unnecessary poke. We're like just way too far forward. Okay, I was going to say we're lucky because he misses his shots, but then he hits that one. So again, I think like if we're up here, we probably still can't save our soldier, but maybe we can save ourselves and we can rotate up around here. And I think there's like a 0% chance that you die if you rotate around here. Your death in the end doesn't actually like mean that much because you get the same respawn wave as the other people anyway. I think as soon as that soldier got hooked and staggered, that was checkpoint right there. Soldier's dead again. So I think this position is fine. Like I think you could, you could play from up here if you wanted because you can still see that Mora if that's what you want. Like I don't know why the Mora is there, but I'm assuming that that's where the soldier died. But I think from up here, like you feel pretty good. You feel pretty cozy. Again, like if you're worried about a roaming hog, pretty safe from up here. And you came down this way anyway, right? So I feel like you could have just like continued to walk up here. You would have only had a couple of seconds where you had no line of sight of these players. So you hear the hog, you're trying to get away from him. Fair enough. All right, we back up. We probably were in hook range for a little bit there. He gets another hook. Low value nade. I think even if you hit that nade there, I'm not seeing a world in which the hog dies. To be quite honest with you. Yeah, I don't think so. I think even though he couldn't heal, like he could still vape a little bit for damage reduction. Your soldier's dead. Sort of a difficult one. I guess your Mora dies as well, so it doesn't really matter if you get the nade or not, or what cooldowns you have. I think I like this position here. I think this is fine. This is really like safe. Like their comp does have like really good poke between the Zen and the Emre, so you obviously can't stand in the open, and you also need to maintain that spacing from the hog, and you also want to have like adequate spacing from the Vendetta where it has to be a sword throw and not a whirlwind to engage on you. Because if she has the option of both, like it means that she's got like an additional exit tool if she needs it, right? All right. I mean, we're not really like able to like save either player there, but at the end of the day, like we're missing our Mora. We've got two critical players. Like I don't believe that there's anything that you can do in this situation unless you're unvoiced, and you can tell your team to like move back a bit and stop staggering, because your queen sort of like shouts and chases the hog. Mora dies, and then so where is it? Like here? Yeah, like here. So like your Mora just died, but queen is like, I'm gonna still like push up and try and take space, and it's just like not viable to do right now. But ooh, gets the kill, nice. How do we get that? So the hog really overextends there by the looks of it. So 2 players die, but I guess Queen does pretty substantial damage on the hog before dying. So you actually getting this kill here is probably like one of the biggest saving graces for your team, because hog has a very, very long walk back to get back. I mean, you're dead either way, so you might as well, yeah, just turn and shoot her and, you know, get another 2% on your ult or whatever, right? These players walk in and stagger out, which is a bit of a bummer.
You'll have to try harder than that.
So I just died 3 times in 2 minutes.
Group up at my position. Come in.
I like this. I think taking this angle here is totally fine. They use the support ult, but we still win. Obviously you're dead, so can't comment too much on any contribution from you there. But I think you took the right angle initially. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about the Tracer. Like if they're going to come to you, they're going to come to you, right? I'd like you to... Which way are you going to go? I'd like to see you like swing right at the moment. I think we're not going to get like a true neutral reset where it's going to be like the initial team fight because of how late these 2 players died. So I'd like to see you like swing kind of like wide and potentially like even like stand up on these things, because you can, on top of like the garden planters, because you can always drop down if you start getting looked at or whatever. I guess I don't want to see you take this angle through here, because I feel like the Vendetta and Emre are probably going to be coming from like either this high ground or this high ground, right? So if you're back here, then you'll have a much safer position to play from. You'll be outside of hook range, and the Vendetta will have to like really like make herself known before she can get on you. Yeah, so you're sort of defaulting back to like the neutral, you know, like roll out high ground, which isn't like terrible. And I don't think that the Vendetta is going to come for you at this stage, but I still feel like you'd be better poised to come and take this high ground, because you can still see all your teammates, you can still shoot targets. You would have been able to get a shot or 2 on the hog, shot or 2 on the Moira, whatever you wanted to do, shot or 2 on the Emre if he peeks up to here. But just maybe refrain from taking like these shorter angles, particularly against like the kind of comp that they have, right? This is probably similar to like the other nade that I criticized like down here when the hog was falling out through here. And I talked about this in another Ana VOD review recently. So it's probably like the most recent Ana one I've done other than this one. You ideally don't want to like nade targets that are already backstepping to the point where your team can't follow up. If you hit, like ask yourself, like if I hit this nade on this hog, would the hog die? And I think the answer is like almost definitely no, right? Because like Soldier has no longer got line of sight to him. Junket Queen is up here. Junket Queen does have line of sight. Does Junket Queen have shout? Junket Queen does have shout. So on the one hand, like it might prompt the Junket Queen to like really commit and try and kill that hog, which might work out and might not. But at the end of the day, like Junket Queen would need to drop down, shout, hit a few shotguns and whatnot. Like he's already backstepping. He could just keep backstepping to here, block line of sight for a couple of seconds. It just feels like it would be a really, really hard nade to follow up on. I think Tracer and Junket Queen would both need to go in. Tracer might need to blink and assuming they have recall, get a clip or 2 off, and then Junket Queen has to commit. But if your Junket Queen commits that hard down to there, they might not be able to get out again, because there's going to be a Vendetta that just starts left clicking them. These 2 players can shoot them. Ideally, like ask yourself, like if I hit the nade on the target, like what value do I get? So am I guaranteed a kill or am I guaranteed space? And these are the 2 things, like do we kill them or do we get space and therefore ideal positioning? We already have ideal positioning. We have high ground control. This Moira that's fading up is going to get forced out if 2 people look at her, like that's guaranteed, right? So we already have space, so we don't need the space, and I don't think we can get the kill, right? So I think in this situation, like that's kind of like a Hail Mary nade, and I think, you know, we've just got to hope that we don't feel like we need a nade again in the next 13 seconds or whatever. A nade into the Transcendence might have been alright, but I guess they've got a whole hog up, so it wouldn't have been easy to follow up on it, but it might have changed the way that they played. I think like we can consider nanoing. Yeah. Yeah, cool. I like that. Cool, easy. I mean, we end up sort of blowing the tank a little bit there. I'm not sure about the coalescence personally, but I think your ult was right. Like I would have ulted there as well, and I think that the Junkie Queen's ult was right as well. Okay, this is good positioning. That's what I like to see. Like you are not a payload princess on Anna. You need to default to the high ground for this fight. There's not going to be a checkpoint fight, so the next fight will be at the corner or potentially players coming from around here. The hog is too far away to have a checkpoint fight, but you're still in the right location. This is good. Seeing you go for damage initially, like no one needs pocket right now. So we see the hog, don't throw a nade. When you looked up, I thought you were going to throw a nade. Again, that would be like a nade that's almost impossible for your team to follow up on. Like Hog's only just peeked out, so he's obviously not going to be like low health, right? Your Junkie Queen is already on that angle. Your Tracer is like in their back line, so nading that, you know, you're basically saying like, I think these two players have the damage per second to kill it, which would not be true. It's a bit tricky. Like your queen's gone deep, she's gotten a kill. If you drop, then you are like in a more vulnerable position. I think it is somewhat on your queen to come back, but I don't know. It's a bit tricky. Like I think that if you drop, your queen is savable. I think if you're aware that the hog is already backstepping and going from here, then I think it's safe enough for you to drop. Your queen dying has meant that you're no longer gonna get bot progress. Whereas like if your queen got the Emre kill and then gets pocketed out, then I think you guys can just keep walking it forward at that point, right? Like Emre's dead, that's huge, that's great. Like one of the biggest threats to your team right now, and the Emre ult is gone. It's really just the Vendetta and the whole hook that's left. I think at this point here, back here a little bit. All right, so pretty much where I'm like, don't nade. So this is good, this is fine. So I'm like, don't nade. All right, he's done his hook, so he's taken his turn, right? So hopefully you're familiar with the concept of like turn-based in Overwatch. Like characters have abilities, they have ultimates, they have positioning, they have health. All these resources equate to being able to take a turn. The easiest example of like taking a turn would be like a Vendetta and a Zarya on the same team, right? Like the Zarya bubbles the Vendetta does her sword throw in, she tries to get value, she either gets a kill or she doesn't, but then that's her turn up, and then she needs to like whirlwind dash to get out. She can't just like stay in indefinitely if she doesn't get the kill, right? So the Vendetta goes in, takes their turn, either gets a kill or doesn't, comes back out, and then waits for the next turn where there's a Zarya bubble and the Vendetta has their cooldowns again, right? Hog's turn is basically his hook. Hog just took his turn. His turn is now over. I think like you should feel a degree of confidence that you can probably, especially as soon as we see this kill, right? I think as soon as we see this kill in the kill feed, we can still heal the soldier, still heal the Moira, but we need to consider dropping here, I think. And I think here as well, like you're scoping, you're like, just get back to me, just get back to me, just get back to me. But like, they can't quite do it. I don't think your queen necessarily like mega overextended. I think your queen knows that they have two supports alive, and also that their back line is somewhat distracted because there was a Tracer there. I think it's reasonable for your queen to expect they would get a heal. I mean, we missed the cooldowns after that, but it's sort of, at that point, it's irrelevant anyway, right? Oh shit, how did we end up here? How did this happen? Hog doesn't have speed boost, so there's no reason for us to just not be walking back right now. He did also just throw out a hook, did he not? Onto the Moira, so he's got a few seconds on his hook. Hog doesn't move any faster than you do. He doesn't have a speed boost. I feel like we just keep walking back here. We just keep walking back here. We don't need to like try and take shelter under here, because if the hog knows that you're under here and he drops down, you're either hitting the sleep or you're dying. Like that's a you know, there's a 50-50 outcome at best there, right? You don't want to take too many 50-50 fights, right? You kind of juke it around. All right, so you don't die, but Moira does. Ask yourself, like, do you think that if you weren't standing here, do you think that your Moira would also be standing here? If you had have walked back to here, which I feel there was plenty of time to do without getting hooked, do you think your Moira would have still been here, or would she have gone back with you? Maybe she would have still been there. But at least you're going to trade the hog here, I think. Surely? Yeah, cool. At least you trade the hog, so like it ends up being like an okay trade. But I feel like, you know, maybe if the hog still drops and you know, you and Moro are positioned a little bit better, maybe you live. But maybe it was also just an elaborate strategy to bait the hog into dropping, because he might not have dropped if he saw you guys were out. And at the end of the day, it ends up being an okay trade.
Come in.
So, all right, cool. We heard the footsteps. We look back. We take a shot or two. That's all you need to do. Like, you let her know that you know she's there, right? You're like, it's just like a statement. Like, I know you're there and I know that you're far away. Like, even if you hit no shots, like, it's forced the vendetta out. If you heard the footsteps and chose not to look back and shoot, then the vendetta's like, oh, they don't know I'm here. I'm going to keep walking up. Essentially, like, that peak was Vendetta's turn, okay? She's decided that she doesn't want to take this turn because you're already aware of her. So that's like a really important thing for you to have done, I think. I'd like you to take that same wide angle that I talked about before to the planters. So although this is like in theory okay, you're still like closer than you might like to a vendetta. I think keeping space to the vendetta is important. I think you could do everything that you want to do from here. And then I think as you rotate, you could rotate sort of on this angle, because I don't think that the Emre, I don't think he's going to take that high ground and ult right now. And if he does ult, I mean, you've got options from back here. Like, you can run inside this side room, and then it becomes like really, really difficult for him to hit you. Of course, you could always like kite back this way from your current positioning, which would also probably work fine. But you don't know that the vendetta is not taking this high ground angle right now. There's no way that you can hear her footsteps from here.
Come in.
You are, I can see that you're trying to maintain spacing, which is good, because like a lot of people will just like instantly walk up here, but you're like waiting to see if your DPS clear that high ground, I think, and confirm that there isn't a vendetta, which is good. So you're going up onto the high ground, which is good. I'm fine with this, happy with this. You need to like look at your queen pretty damn soon though. We don't drop here. We do not drop here. There's no reason to drop here. Absolutely none. We drop, and the Emre, because when we fall as well, we always fall in a predictable pattern. Like, these are like the easiest shots of this Emre's life right now. Right? Like, sees an Anna fall down. All right, shit, yeah, I'm going to shoot that. I mean, he ends up missing a few shots. His aim is bad, but like, there's really no reason for you. And you've also dropped into a hog. Everything that you're doing, you could adequately do from up here right now, to be honest. Like, if you wanted to hit this nade, you could do it from up there, and you'd be a heck of a lot safer than where you are down there, which is, again, still about to be in line of sight of 3 players. Like, you will need to de-peak this, and you'll need to rotate back to this way, to be honest. If you try and greed this kill on the hog and swing this way, I can see a world in which you get traded. Alright, so we also we get traded, which is bad. I mean, first of all, like, obviously we just never drop here. Like, there's absolutely no reason to drop here. Maybe it's an overcompensation because you felt before like you could have saved the queen, but you didn't. But in this case, like, you have line of sight to the queen, so there's no reason to drop at all. You also like failed the positioning test for Emre ult. So Emre ult is like, it's like, you know, it's like Deadeye, it's like Sojourn ult, it's like Diva Bomb. It's just it's a positioning test, right? I literally just did a VOD review where I talked about Diva Bomb theory, which is like, obviously there's no Diva on the enemy team, but like, if a Diva Bomb was launched at me right now, could I survive? When you're up here, like, it's pretty good. You actually are like almost guaranteed to survive a Diva Bomb up here because you have so many options. If it's going directly over your head, I guess you could just drop down here. You could potentially fall back down this way. If the Diva Bomb lands over there, then you have cover. Now, recognizing there isn't a Diva on the other team, you apply this principle to like everything in the game, right? Well, almost everything. Every line of sight ult that can potentially one-shot or two-shot you. And Emre's ult can obviously one-shot, two-shot you with the right-click, left-click, right? So basically, we die because we end up in a shitty position out in the open and we can't rotate away from the Emre ult. If the Emre ults, so we'll see where he actually uses it, right? So Emre ults from in there. So if you were up here this whole time, I fucking guarantee that this Emre cannot kill you, okay? Because of where he's ulted from, he would not have any good line of sight to hit you here, because Emre isn't going for direct hits with his ultimate, his right clicks. He's going for the splash damage. Like, he just wants to shoot your feet, right? If you're up here, this is a not great angle to hit the directs, and you can just de-peek it. You can literally just drop down here and then start rotating over to here. And although he can fly, it's going to take him a really long time to like fly up here and start to shoot you again. So this is just this all just comes back to you like dropping, to be honest. Alright, so we're resetting again. Our team is looking to take high ground. Your queen must have gotten staggered because they're still respawning. And so your queen's actually going to get the back spawn here. So I don't know if your team is aware that your queen is getting the back spawn while they're staging high ground, but if you take a fight now, like, your queen is going to be like at that spawn, right? Maybe you're aware of that because you're not with the team, but we'll see what happens. I feel like the principle of what you're doing now is fine. Poke out this Moira. See if you can actually like poke her out enough to get her off the cart and stop some cart progress. I still don't mind this, even though like your team is attempting a push up this way. At the end of the day, like, your queen is so far back that your team needs to either like look for a pick, like try and get a magic pick somewhere, just like kill someone by surprise because they're not expecting it, or your team just needs to fully like reset and regroup. Nothing that your team is doing, unless he gets hooked by the hog. Like, everyone else on your team is like pretty survivable right now. I don't know where the Moira is. RK with a soldier. Yeah, I feel like this is all fine, and I feel like what you're doing in principle was okay, but you now need to make a really clear decision which way you're going, because it's probably no longer safe for you to take this rotation, given the Moira and the Zen are both there. So I think you probably needed to either make the decision to rotate right about here. Once the Moira started taking the cover, like, I think you would actually probably need to rotate this direction if you wanted to get back to your queen, or otherwise you need to go up this way and play with the other 4 players on your team, because you'll get run over by this Moira if you stand here by yourself. If the Zen discords you and Moira starts zapping you. It's a really bad sleep dart as well. It's like a super low percentage sleep dart. Like, my question would be like, what if the Moira did fade onto you right now, starts zapping you and throws an orb in here? She's got a harmony orb from the Zen, so she's got a bit of pocket. You've obviously got nade to give yourself some sustain, but I can see a world in which the Moira actually wins this 1v1, particularly because she'll have orb up in like 3 seconds, right? 2 seconds. I know that's your Moira. 3 seconds, yeah. So like, even though you've got a nade, like, I feel like she could just bounce an orb on this wall. It'll bounce to this wall, and then you'll just die, right? So I think this decision to take this rotation is a little bit late and a little bit risky. But overall, I would say that like, your team's decision to take this angle is a bit questionable. I would have ulted him. Even though your Moira is dead, I think as soon as you trade out the hog, this fight seems like really winnable, right? So hog dies, we know hog dies. We look back,
I grew tired of fighting alone.
we take a shot, and the shot misses. So I know there's like always a risk of like nano-jaxing, like nanoing someone that and then the nano not reaching them in time. But the fact that you had time to take a shot tells me that you had time to do a nano. So if you nano him there, I mean, he's going to be super durable. He could potentially pop a visor and just kill both of these players. Maybe they have cooldowns to get out. But even if that's the case, like, what would he do? He would chase out this way, and then the Zen would transcendence. So it feels like it would end up being an okay ult trade. It would be a 2-for-1, but their hog is dead, your Moira is dead, but you've now got a 4v4 advantage, and their transcendence will end. So I feel like a bit of a missed opportunity there. You're now dead, so I think you should honestly just die. Right? Yeah. just keep in mind, like your decision to get the mega only delays your death by probably like half a second, but it does mean that you feed an extra like 200 ult charge to them.
Come in.
Have we had this nano for quite a while? Nah, not really. It feels like you've only used nano once so far, doesn't it? What's your name? Skeletrix Ultimate. Oh, why isn't it? I mean, I know I saw you use a nano on the Junker Queen. That's the only nano I can remember you using. I think I skipped ahead too far there. My bad. I think we're dying to the... Yeah, we're dying. Yeah, cool. I don't know why the bookmarks isn't showing it, but I feel like you've only used one ultimate, and I feel like the game's been going for 6 minutes. So I think we've got to look for maybe a few more opportunities to use these ultimates. Another like super low percentage sleep dart, like if you hit that sleep dart, like maybe your Tracer and Junker Queen can kill them, but like given how this game's going, that you're talking about how you're struggling to a Vendetta, which to be honest, I'm not really seeing you struggle to the Vendetta at all. Like I feel like other than the very first fight, I don't know that you've like really interacted with the Vendetta. Obviously you died to her at the Mega, but like you didn't die because of the Vendetta. You died because like you took a late rotation, you didn't know the soldier, and then at the end of the day, like you needed to die there to reset, right? So it seems like we want to get onto the high ground, which makes a lot of sense. Cool. We somehow forced strength, which is great. Nice Queen ult. Love to see it. I'm not sure that we need to walk so heavy right now. We need to know this Queen, otherwise she's dead. So I was worried that the Hog would hook you. He chooses to hook the Queen. You see the hook come out. Yeah, I think it's this moment here. You look to the left. We see the hook come out. We look to our left. I guess we still, it's the same as like with the soldier death though. Like you had time to throw out a nade, which means that you have time to use a nano. I feel that if we nano our Queen there, she won't get instantly blown up. She'll get knocked back a bit, but she'll have the health and the damage reduction to live for a while. And that might buy your team time to actually... What the fuck? I don't even know if I need to comment on that. Why would we nano a Mora? Why would we nano a Mora when we're down 2? Like, yeah, let's just be smarter about this. We're either nanoing the Queen there or we're resetting. I think the worst thing is that your nano seemingly prompts her... Seemingly prompts her to use her own coalescence. Were you not trying to nano them? Who are you actually looking at with the nano? No, I mean, you're very clearly looking at them and nanoing them. Coalescence does 70 damage per second. Nano gives 50% damage boost. So that only makes it 105 damage per second, right? 105 damage per second isn't such a tremendous amount, and they have their own coalescence up right now. So unless your Mora instantly beams their Mora, it doesn't really feel winnable, right? Because coalescence does 70 damage per second, but it heals for 140. So even though your Mora would be doing 105, their Mora would be easily out healing it unless the Mora is the one that instantly dies. I think you nanoing the Mora makes the Mora think, shit, I should use my ultimate to try and get value. So instead of wasting one support ult, we waste 2 support ults. Otherwise, like positioning, I guess I haven't really talked about it. Like I said, I didn't think you should walk heavy because I thought the Hog would try and hook you, but he tried to hook the Queen. But otherwise, like your positioning through this fight has been like, it's kind of like moderately acceptable, I would say. Like my question would be like, why did we drop from this position initially? Like at this point, like what's our decision making to drop? Because I can't see any good reason that we would drop here. I feel like especially like why would we want to drop into the Transcendence? If we just stay up here, I feel like, you know, our Queen is still going to do the same ultimate, right? Let's look at it from this POV, right? Our Queen is still going to do the exact same ultimate. Yeah. we're no longer a hook risk, but we weren't getting hooked anyway because he wanted to hook the queen. The queen comes back in. We can still see the queen. Like if we're playing this angle, I'm sure that we can still see the queen there, right? Like maybe, I don't know, maybe not actually, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just slightly too far around the corner. It's hard to say exactly. Hooked in. No, we definitely still see the queen. We definitely still see the queen. So yeah, like my question would be like, why do we drop in the first place? And then because we drop and we do like, we just have a cascade of bad decisions, right? I feel like what ends up happening is that when we die, there's actually like an Emre standing on top of us somehow. And so I haven't like looked at how he got there necessarily, but I assume that he just, okay, so he just runs up behind you, shoots you in the back, and that's it. Yeah, I feel like, you know, similar to when you dropped at the checkpoint fight on the other side of the map, like probably just stay up here, I think, right? I think you could have hit the nano on the queen there, and I think that fight could have potentially gone quite a lot differently for you. Alright, so we're back out of spawn. Just looking for whatever damage we can. So shooting the hog there kind of makes sense. I mean, there's no other target to shoot. You couldn't see the soldier anyway. Soldier died all the way over there, so there's literally nothing you could have done for him anyway. Like, I don't know why he would have been there. I think the angle and the position that you're taking there is fine. I think if you come over here on this angle, obviously there's no cover. And I think if you play up on this angle here, you're going to be like more in their like poker's line of sight. Like Zen and Emre will like sooner or later be looking at this angle, but it'll be a long time before they're looking at this angle. So I think your positioning here is fine. I mean, your sleep darts are like all terrible, right? I think I've only seen you hit one sleep dart this game so far, which was on a hog when the hog missed the hook on the soldier, like around here, right? So I don't know, maybe you need to like jump into like the practice, not the practice range, like an aim trainer, like Vaxta, VAXTA is the custom code, and like practice hitting sleep darts on targets. Again though, like I already talked about this before, like if you're talking about like a vendetta is a hassle and all that, like, and I talked about before, like the idea of like, can our team follow up on it? Like if you hit the sleep dart on the Emre here, there is a chance that your team can get this kill. But like your tank was already kind of locked in on this situation here. Your Moro's already locked in on this situation here. Your Tracer was like way in their back line and unable to help. And your soldier had died a few seconds earlier. So it's probably a pretty low percentage sleep dart. Now imagine if you had a sleep dart available right now. How great would a sleep dart be right now? Incredible, right? Like actually so good. Otherwise, there's nothing you can do. You're just, it's like you're looking at the sun as the sun's about to go into like supernova and destroy you. Like all you can do is watch. But you know, if you didn't waste your sleep dart a few seconds earlier on an Emre that like probably wasn't going to die, right? Like again, like look at your team's positioning. Like who would follow up on the Emre? Do you have the headshot perk? No, you're not even on your second perk yet anyway. So like, I don't think that you could kill the Emre. I don't think anyone else on your team could kill the Emre. You know, we're throwing our cooldown out just for the sake of it. It's like, I have my button, I might as well push my button kind of thing. But we need to hold it for a bit more value, right? We missed the nade, which is a bit of a bummer. Honestly, if we were perked up, we actually probably could have killed this vendetta here. But no headshot perk yet. Somehow our team like doesn't completely lose that fight, which is surprising, but I can't be bothered going back and watching why. That nade's fair and reasonable, I think. You're probably not going to need nade again in the next few seconds, and you want to make sure that that hog dies very, very quick. Going for a shot or two to force him out is good. That makes sense. I think like the enemy team is just heavily backstepping right now, so you don't need to like worry so much about like getting to like ideal positioning and stuff. The only thing I would say is that like you've really lagged behind your team in this situation actually. Like back here, you're like pretty much in line with your team, right? But you kind of like keep looking back, keep backstepping. You're getting really split from your team now, and I feel like you don't want to be too split from your team against like their team comp, especially on the high ground. If their Emre rotates up to here and you're still trying to get through here, you're actually going to be completely zoned. Like you would be relying on your Sojourn hitting a rail or your Hog hitting a hook, or maybe your Venture going out to dislodge him. Because like if the Emre gets up here in the next 1 or 2 seconds, which from his positioning is very, very viable for him to do, you actually can't easily link back up with your team. You're stuck there until your team dislodges him. Whereas if you stop just like looking back and trying to like fuck around with like the Zenyatta or whatever was there, like I think it was totally fine to take a shot, but like why do we like keep like walking, looking back, like just stay in line with your team. You don't need to like split from them right now. So Emre chooses not to take that angle so early, so you get to make the rotation, but that's luck for you that the enemy team made those decisions. So now I think because we've successfully made the rotation, we don't want to walk too heavy. I think we want to play like around here for now, or like around here for now. And then if our team starts walking up, we can take this corner and so on and so forth. I think I'm not like a huge fan of like walking so heavy right now. Like we're either playing here or we're playing here, and then we're like, this is our next point to move up to. We live, it's pretty close. I think we're 1 right click away from dying. I think it's closer than it needs to be because like we're not necessarily passing the Diva bomb test, right? Again, I think if we're hugging the corner just a little bit closer, we can still heal our teammates that need healing, and we're just that slide is a bit safer, right? I think you getting a shot off. Oh, you actually didn't hit him. I thought you did. But I think that's good. Ultimately, like you are safe and you are gonna live here. It's a little bit closer than what I'd like, but you do need to start thinking about your rotation. We've used a sleep dart. Where have we used the sleep dart? On the Emre? What the fuck did we just try and sleep dart? A Moira? A fading Moira? We tried to sleep dart a fading Moira? Well, you're dead. I think by all rights you're dead right now, and you're dead because...
That must sting.
Okay. Yeah. We need to stop wasting our sleep dart, okay? If we successfully sleep dart the Hog... So, hang on. So our whole team is alive right now. We're living. All right, 1 person dies. That's a bummer. If we have sleep dart, we sleep the Hog right now. If we sleep the Hog right now, we can make a rotation over to here. Okay, and we can keep rotating, and we can try and juke the Hog, and we can try and help our team on the way through. I guess our team is going to die anyway. Ultimately, like, we tried to push during an Emre ult, which is the wrong decision to make. That's not your decision. You fell back, and frankly, I think most of your team should have fallen back as well. Because Emre ult is like not something that you ideally want to push into. It's like an overclock. It's, you know, it's like a soldier visor with nano visor level damage, you know, like it's pretty scary unless you have like a support ult to counter it. He hits the direct on the Moira, which is a bit of a shame, but ultimately I think you still like misplayed this. I don't know that you playing it differently would have changed the outcome of this team fight. I think your team made fundamental mistakes, but you also like waste sleep dart on just nothing again. So you can't make the rotation that you need to try and potentially help your team. If you got 1 heal on the Moira, then the Moira would have lived. Right? And your Venture actually ends up trading the Emre. So like, yeah, it's a shame. So I think if we hit the sleep dart here, when we should have, then we instantly look to the right, and we instantly, because the Emre is already not looking in this direction, we instantly try and take this rotation. And I think 1 second, 2 seconds, 3. It's possible that we can heal the Moira and save her. Not guaranteed, but I think like there's a small chance that we hit the heal on the Moira and she doesn't die to that, because she only needed like 10 more health to not die. All right, we'll skip ahead. I think the game's basically over. So Hog dies really late, which is a shame. I think we take a pretty safe, conservative position. That's fine. I think we just keep. I don't think we need to like poke back and look at that hog. I think we can just play, especially because we've got the headshot perk. This is your moment. This is your chance to like try and leverage something in your team's favor. Like if the hog is all the way over here, like you can't interact with him effectively anyway. Shooting him won't kill him. You're probably not going to be able to like hit a sleep dart or anything to save someone that gets hooked. Don't bother wasting time. Just be out here and like try and beam the Zenyatta, right? Like if you two-shot this Zenyatta right now, your team will actually like just get such a big advantage, right? I don't think that you need to de-peak that. I think you can keep peeking that angle for 1 or 2 more shots. You hit that shot, great. You miss, you hit. But
You're powered up. Get in there.
was that unintentional? Were you trying to get the vent shot? No, I don't think so.
Get in there.
Well, they double support ulted, which is great. I'm not sure exactly what you thought the value would be in ulting the hog. I thought maybe you were going for the venture only because like the venture potentially could have like killed the players that were on the left, the vendetta or whatever maybe. Like maybe she can just like burst combo. And is Emre there as well? No, I don't know where Emre is. Emre must have died. Yeah, I thought maybe that's what you were trying to do. I guess you're just not keeping track of ultimates very well, right?
You're powered up. Get in there.
'Cause I would think that like we wouldn't necessarily invest Nano whole hog into a team that has Transcendence up, as it seems unlikely to get a kill through the Transcendence. Miss our nade. Assuming your hog has hook, then potentially hitting the nade then might have actually gotten a kill for you. I do want to go back and look at what happened to our sleep dart as well. It's kind of tragic, like we're missing a lot of really easy nades as well, right? Alright. That's a fair and reasonable sleep dart. That's probably one of the most fair and reasonable sleep darts you've done because it's an Emre that's like pretty much point blank to you. You've got the headshot perk. If you hit that sleep dart, he would die. That's just 100% guaranteed outcome. Because even though you don't have nade, I'm like so incredibly confident that you could line up a headshot melee, and then hit him one more time with just a body shot and kill him, right? Well, we overplayed our hand. I think after we missed the sleep dart here, it's now time to start walking back up to here, right? To start walking back, you kind of linger and stay on this angle, and I think that's going to get you killed again. Yep. In your post, you talked about how you felt like there was a hog just like living for free or walking for free in your backline. Technically, you're the team's backline. That's true, but like you're not like in the backline. Do you know what I mean? Like you're like choosing to take these positions against like a hog, against the Emre. I don't think that like it's an uncontested hog issue. It's definitely just like you not reacting to. What's the point of the sleep dart? You sleep him, so what? What's gonna happen, dude? Like what's gonna happen? Okay, your hog is so far back. Sleep dart lasts what, like 2.5 seconds on a tank, I forget, one or the other. By the time your tank walks up, he's gonna be awake, right? He's not gonna like hit an easy hook, right? Maybe like you think like I can sleep him, I can nade him, we can kill him, guys, but like I don't see that happening, honestly. And he's already backstepping, like he's already around the corner when we sleep dart. Actually, a good nade there, right? I think that nade actually, although there's no chance that the hog dies to that nade, realistically, I think that getting naded made him backstep and rethink his turn. So he wanted to take his turn. He wanted to throw out his hook, right? He has a hook right now. Yes, he has a hook right now. He gets naded and he sees that 2 people are looking at him. So he thinks, I don't want to peek that. However, you've been baited into thinking that he's completely left. And he's waving at you because he thinks this is really funny, right? Like, you didn't respect that he was still there. I think maybe you thought that he had like fully backstepped, but he is not fully backstepped, right? Like this is again like your own like poor positioning. This isn't a hog living for free in your back line. This is you choosing to interact with a Roadhog. Whether through like poor awareness, poor decision making, whatever, like it's a choice that you made. I guess the game's over, so like we'll wrap it up there. I don't see how this is even remotely winnable. I think again, key things would be like the way you use your cooldowns, right? You're just throwing out sleep darts at range on targets that like it's completely irrelevant if the sleep dart hits or not. You're missing most of your nades, and many of your nades that you hit are like nades that your team can't like capitalize and get value from. I think there was only like, you know, a couple of good sleep darts, a couple of good nades throughout the whole thing. I think we used 3 nanos in a 10-minute game, which feels like not a lot of nanos. So I think we're holding on for them for too long. I think key things would be like decision making around here with the Junkie Queen dying initially. So I know like with the Junkie Queen dying, I told you that you should have dropped, but I explained why, because the hog had taken his turn and the Emre was dead, so you're safe to drop. But then the second time I explained why you shouldn't have dropped, right? Because the Emre is not dead, so he's beaming you on the way down, and then you just get stuck in a shit position, right? So I think if you can work on 1, your sleep dart aim, and 2, thinking about more thought on like what value you can actually get from your cooldowns, like can this result in either a kill or like a meaningful space being gained? I think ask yourself those questions before just throwing out the cooldowns. I think being a bit more proactive with your ultimates. I think thinking more about value from your ultimates, like the nano beast on the hog again didn't make sense because they have double support ult, and you should probably know that they have double support ult. I don't see how he could have gotten a kill then through the Transcendence. He would have needed to like hook someone in and then just somehow like instantly blow them up when they're outside of like Zen's range or something, right? And I think, yeah, we talked about positioning a lot, and you highlighted you're not really sure about positioning. So hopefully like all the little like tips and examples that I gave throughout this were what you wanted. Hopefully this helps. Good luck.